Good morning, everyone. Couldn't get my feed up here. Sorry about that. Hi, Karen. Good morning, Kathy and Patricia and Stephanie, Julie, Diana, and Jan. Hi, Sarah. No, well, we have some snow, Fran, but it's still not frigidly frigid. I think you guys have the prize for the suckiest winter, officially. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Vicky, Patricia, and Tammy. Cold, -27. Yeah, we're gonna, I think, have -11 one day this week, but I think you guys still win because it's. I read that in Chicago it's gonna be colder than Siberia and the Arctic, so I think officially Chicago should get some sort of a vacation somewhere. Warmer in Ohio. Thank you guys for joining today. I will tell you, the Rainbow Stamper has the flu. Wah, wah. So he missed school on Monday, and he is about 8 hours fever-free thus far because I wasn't quite sure if I was going to be able to go live today, but I thought there's probably so many people who are stuck inside that don't want to be stuck inside, and so we're going to make a simple-ish card today. I saw this idea lately watching another stamper, and I will go into that a little further in detail. But thank you all for joining today. We're going to make a card using one of these masks, and I'm kind of torn because I've done one with this before, which is awesome. And the brick one I really like doing with the embossing paste, but I'm not sure which one I want to use. If I want to use the little, I guess these are like stars or like a filigree pattern, or if I want to do the cloud. So I really haven't decided between the two. We're not using embossing paste. We're going to use them a little bit differently. So if you guys have a preference, let me know. We can certainly use that. But in the meantime, so when you do purchase these decorative masks, you get all 4 of them in a pack. So you get the bricks, you get the, what is this called? I always forget what this is called. Like a medallion, I guess. Anyway, medallion, you get the clouds, and then you get these little stars. So you get all 4 of them in a pack, so that's a pretty good deal. They are reusable. All you have to do is wipe them off, especially if you're using embossing paste. You do want to make sure that you clean them with warm soapy water right away. What I usually do is I'll have like a tray when I'm using it, and I'll put some soapy water and I'll just kind of sit them in and then wipe them off with a towel. But even if they look a little dirty, because they are used, they are still completely usable, so you just want to make sure you wipe them off. The little stamper is feeling better already, Sarah, because I did get a little wee bit of attitude this morning. So that's how I can tell. When he's very cuddly and subdued, you know he's sick. And when he's got a little bit of a tude, that's when you know he's all better. But I also wanted to share just a couple things with you guys. So I know, oh my gosh, my catalog's stuck together with a glue dot. There are a few things that are kind of on back order, and there are a couple things that aren't orderable anymore. We had a meeting last night, a kind of an informal online meeting, and Sarah kind of filled us in on a few things that are going out of stock, and also a few of the reasons why. And actually, believe it or not, a lot of really enlightening information about how many things we sell, which are pretty amazing. So, for example, they said that if they have a punch, they usually would sell, like in a yearly period, 12 to 15,000 of a punch if it's popular. And when they have one that's in one of the shorter catalogs, so like a spring or a holiday catalog, they sell that many in 6 months. So that's pretty incredible how many, and it also depends on what people love. So there's some things that fly off the shelf. They get rid of them right away and they reorder them and still just can't keep them in stock. So that being said, one of the things that we can no longer get for Celebration is the ribbon. It was so hard to keep in stock and so popular that this won't be back in time. So they do have some on back order. So if you were lucky enough to place an order on back order, they are honoring the back order. And then there is 2 other things that I think might recently be. So the foil paper, which is super popular. So if you have an order that's going in and you're considering getting the foil, you might want to get this sooner than later. And I did say this at the beginning, and I always do, and that's why they have a lot of these items as supplies last, because you know, it's a consumable thing. So the same with the card kit. So they only have so many of them. But the good news is, I saw a preview, and I can't say much about it. I saw a preview, though, of the things that are coming as the second Celebration. And oh my gosh, you guys, couple really awesome things, first of all. But one of them, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I have to save for that because it's such a cool item. So they have a few more things coming out. But again, the foil paper is getting close to its almost running outness. And that usually happens with the glimmer paper, too, that they put in. And then the card kit, that's getting also to the end as well. But the good news is we did find out that the framelits are going to carry over. So if you earn the framelits for free now, you don't have to buy them in the catalog to coordinate. So that's pretty cool. And we still have this beautiful stamp set, which I am featuring this Saturday. We actually had to reschedule our blog hop. Unfortunately, Tammy, her dog, passed away very unexpectedly. So we're very, very sorry to hear that. I am deeply sorry to hear that. I can't imagine losing a friend so suddenly. So we are rescheduling our Valentine's blog hop to this Saturday. So if you missed it, you didn't miss it. It's going to be this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. and you can find that at Rachthestamper.com. But I made a cool Valentine's card with this, believe it or not. So I'm not going to tell you anything else about it, but it's an out-of-the-box style Valentine. And then we still have, you can get the Home to Roost. That's a great stamp set as well. But then another thing, there's a couple other things that are on back order. Actually, they might be on not orderable status, which basically is kind of preventing them from putting it there in the chance that they aren't able to fulfill it. But, so the Cake Builder Punch, if you order the bundle, you will get the stamp set, but the punch is on hold right now because they weren't able to keep up with the demand of it. And then that one was kind of like a slow builder. It wasn't really selling. And then somebody in Stampin' Up must have made one amazing card because then it was like flying off the shelves, which is pretty cool to go to show you how somebody makes something, which is a lot of times how there's things in the catalog that I'll be like, I don't really love that. And then I see somebody make it and I'm like, darn, now I have to get that set, whatever it is. And then the other one is, I think it's the butterfly. So the butterfly punch and the stamp set. The punch is also, right now, they're having a little bit of trouble keeping it in stock. So if you get the bundle, you will get the stamp set, but the punch would be coming behind. I don't know when yet. The last time I checked it, I think it was probably that it was going to be coming in late February. So yes, Julie, unfortunately, her new dog very unexpectedly passed away. I'm not quite sure what happened, but so she's been pretty devastated, understandably so, because pets are a big part of our lives, and especially since she had lost Flash so recently as well. So sending her some warm, heartfelt greetings this morning. I know she's on here as well. So Tammy, I hope you know we're all thinking of you. Hi, Teresa. Good morning from Maryland. So you're here enjoying the snow. She may be having a snow day too. We don't have any school today, again, which is good because the Rainbow Stamper is still currently flu-like. Hi, Bobby. Thanks for joining. I hear it's really, really cold where you are, so we're sending you warm thoughts. I'm hoping you don't have to go into to work. Maybe they'll decide that they're going to just close the whole Midwest until it thaws out in the spring. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so what we're going to do today, I actually got this idea. I watch lots of different people on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all those other things. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with Gina K. She is a designer of a lot of stamp stuff and inks and whatnot. Well, she has a daughter, and her daughter's name is Rena, and she is younger. I'd say she's probably in her 20s, but she really is quite hilarious to watch make cards. And she reminds me a lot of myself because she makes things kind of just as they go, and she will like cut to things if things go wrong. She really is very funny. Well, she had her boyfriend who made her a card with all of her stamping supplies. She didn't know this, so she had him redo the video. So he kind of did one that was similar to this. That's where I got this idea. But if you ever want a really good laugh, she is very funny. She has a very dry sense of humor, but she really is quite creative. But it's kind of funny to just see how she interacts with doing things in stamping. So give her a peek if you haven't seen her. She's quite humorous to watch. So do we have a choice here? I didn't watch the comments, but I'm going to just flick back here and see if I see anything. So we have clouds. I see 2, 3 clouds, 4 clouds, star things. I like that. Stars. Oh, aren't you sweet, Donna? No place I'd rather be with you. That must mean that you're snowbound and you cannot possibly escape. Her name is Rina, R-I-N-A. So it's like Gina, but with an R. So Rina K. And it's kind of funny because she has taken over like her mom's, and she just put like a Post-it over the G with an R. So she really is quite humorous. So stars, clouds, stars. Oh, that's a tie. So you know what? We're going to have to make one of each. So I may not assemble both of them, but we'll do one of each just for the heck of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do these on just regular Whisper White for both of them. What we'll do is we'll do the stars first, and then we'll go back and do the clouds. And I'm going to just do them with the same colors because it's kind of meant to be, and what I'll do is I'll change the orientation of them. It's kind of meant to be the way the color scheme is that I want to use. Like, it's kind of fading into each other, if that makes sense. With the colors, they're not matchy colors. So we're just going to pick 3 colors. So I have a piece of the frog tape that I used from something last week. So I'm going to just reuse this again. So what I'm going to do is just going to pull a little, actually I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a little fold of this, put this in the center. And everyone was going this way. Smash that down. I'm going to just put this kind of on top. It doesn't really matter if it goes on or off or whatever it is we're going to do. And then I'm going to just grab another little piece of the tape and just put this so it stays down. Move this over a little bit because that's just overlapping the card. So put this here. I haven't used these in a while. Not quite sure why, because I love using these masks, because this is kind of one of those things where if you're new, it's simple stamping. There's not really much you're doing to this. We're going to just grab 3 ink colors. So I'm going to go with Pool Party because I love it. And how about Melon Mambo, just because those 2 colors are really pretty together. And I wonder if... and Daffodil Delight. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go like that. So I'm going to do Pool Party, Daffodil Delight, and then Melon Mambo. And you probably could, and I haven't done this, so I'll have to try this off camera another time, but you probably could even bring in the glycerin again if you wanted to. And you also could do this 2 ways. So the first way I'll do it with sponges. And then when I do the other card, I will do it with sponge daubers. And we'll see which one we end up liking the best. Okay? So we're going to start with just a sponge. This is just a 1/4 piece of a sponge. These are not from the same sponge. I probably cut them at different times. But anyway. And I know a couple of ladies on here have said that they actually cut theirs into 1/8. So instead of cutting it, and if I had here's one. This one's dirty though, so we'll keep it on the side. So I usually just cut it in 4, but you probably could cut them smaller if you wanted to. So we're going to just ink this up with some Pool Party. And what I'm going to do, because I've used Pool Party a lot, is I'm going to actually take my re-inker and just re-ink it a little bit. I'm going to just do a real quick tidbit with you. So when you put these on the foam inkers, unless your pad is really dry, like that, you can see they're getting absorbed right away. A lot of times, they will just sit on top. So if they do sit on top, I'll show you my very special tool that I have. It helps to get the drops in. So this pad is really dry because typically they'll just sit in a bubble on here. So if they do sit in a bubble, what you want to do, and you have to order this tool specially to do this. Just kidding. You just get a plastic spoon and you just press the ink down into the pad a little bit, because typically it'll be sitting up on the top. And then I'll just take my spoon and I'll get my craft towel here and just wipe it off. And then I'll put it back over in my little tool thing, and then I just use it over again. So, very technical. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up with some Pool Party. And I'm going to just sponge. So I'm kind of tapped to begin with. Kind of tap it on, and then I'm just going to press just to get it, make sure I get all the nooks and crannies there. Let's see. Just like that. And it doesn't really have to be like a hard line, so we'll stop there. I'm going to just set this on the side. I'm going to leave that open in case I want to use any more. So now we're going to move on to Daffodil Delight. Now this is still a linen pad. So when you do your linen pad, just to show you the difference, and you re-ink it, these almost always get absorbed like right away. So you can see the difference with the linen versus the foam. And I do like them both for different things, so it just kind of depends. All right, so I think this was my yellow. So I'm going to just ink this up again, and then we're going to just kind of start with bringing in a little bit of the yellow. And you can overlap onto the green if you want, or the pool party, I should say. And if it is still wet, it'll kind of create like emergence of color, which I thought was really cool. So if you use the glycerin, it definitely will stay a little bit more wet. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just dip one more time in my pool party and kind of go back over that yellow just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close the pool party, but I'm going to leave the So Saffron open in case we need to do a little bit with that. So last color will be Melon Mambo. Okay, and I'm going to start from the end on this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of try to have this end a little darker, and then a little bit more of a fade as it gets towards the yellow. So I'm always going to start back here at the end again, and then bring it over. I think this should look really cool when we're done. If it turns out what I think it's going to be. So all of you who are in the frigid temperatures, there should be lots of people crafting today that you can watch. I'm pretty sure I saw that Tammy and Linda are on today around, wow, you can totally see the rainbow effect that gave. I think Tammy and Linda are on today around noon, so if you're cold later, I'm going to bring a little bit more yellow in here. You can watch them. So I'm going to go ahead and close these 3 inks up, and I'm going to move my sponges, but I'm going to leave these over here because we're going to do the same thing again with the sponge daubers instead. Okay, 53 degrees in Tampa. Yeah, that is chilly for sure. Hi, Jamie. Thanks for joining. Hope you're doing well. All right, so here comes the big moment. I'm going to peel this tape off and just pop it somewhere because I'm going to use it for my other card in a minute. I have my my stamp club class next Friday, so hopefully everyone will be well by then and we won't be spreading any germs. But look at that. That's pretty cool. Looks really neat, like a nice rainbow effect. If you remember, I did stick this to the, let's see if I can pull this off real quick without getting my ink everywhere. But that looks really neat. So we have one card down, and I'm going to, yeah, there you go. I'm going to just wipe this off to start over again. Just like that. So that's really nice. And then all I'm going to do is, when I'm finished with this, is I'm going to go rinse this because there's definitely some ink on it, but I'm going to rinse this. So I'm going to put this on the side. So there's one, as you can see. And now we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do the clouds. And I know maybe rainbow clouds may not be your thing, but I think it's going to be pretty. So we're going to give it a shot anyway. And the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make sure that some of these kind of overlap, and they might not exactly line up, which is kind of what I want to do. So I'm going to just do the same thing again. I'm going to just tape this down on all 4. And on this one, what I'm going to do is we're going to use the sponge daubers. But when I do the sponge daubers this time, I'm going to try not to overlap. I'm going to try to have like a line. And we'll see if that works differently. So I'm going to pull out 3. So you get 5 of these sponge daubers when you order a package of them. I just happened to pick out 5 freshies, but you can rinse them out even if they have color on them, unless they're black. I usually keep black by itself. If I use one for craft white, I won't use that for anything but craft white, because the craft white can sometimes go to your pad. So you want to keep your craft white one alone, and you want to keep a black one alone. So if you have those, I would make an effort to those 2 to maybe label them in some way. But anything else, as long as you wash them out afterwards, you kind of rinse it till the sponge goes clear, and then let it dry. You can use them on virtually any color as well. So I'll put this over here so you guys can see it. Now we're going to do this. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with Pool Party. It's supposed to be in the 70s in Arizona. Oh, if only we could all just travel to Arizona. That would be awfully nice. And another thing, if you wanted to, you could just stick with doing the Pool Party with this. So you could do the whole thing in Pool Party. And if you want a darker color, the other thing you could do as well is you could fill your well with the refill ink and dip directly into it. You could also try doing this, like I said, with a little bit of glycerin, but so I'm just going to tap just to kind of fill in these clouds a little bit, and then I'm going to swirl. Now this may be a little different because the way the clouds are, you kind of don't really get that super hard line. So again, I am kind of going back and forth. So you kind of would have to, if you were going to imagine, make yourself like a little area of where you wanted to sponge. So you could even take a piece of tape and go across if you wanted like a really definitive line. But I'm going to just stop right there. I'm going to get just the edge of this little cloud here. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one over here. Oops, I knew that wasn't going to work. And then we're going to move on to the yellow. So I got Daffodil Delight. Same thing again, just make sure you want to ink up your dauber. And this is kind of neat with the yellow and the blue because it almost makes it look like the sun peeking from behind the clouds. Okay, so I think I kind of have formed myself a little bit of a line, so that worked out surprisingly well. All right, now I'm not going to go past that point, so I'm just going to go up here, add a little bit more to a couple spots. Okay, so again, that one was Daffodil Delight, and then last will be Melon Mambo. Hello from Florida. I hit my frog tape at Home Depot. I got it the last time I was there, actually. All right, so now I'm going to add in the Melon Mambo. I think there's like some purple tape that I've heard of. I guess you have to get that in like a craft store. I've never gotten the purple tape though. This looks really neat. This is way, I just kind of had this thought while I was falling asleep last night because he wasn't, yesterday he still had a pretty bad fever. So I was like, I really didn't want to cancel just because I enjoy doing it and like checking in with you guys. And I was like, what could I do that's simple? And I had a card that I made that I still haven't shared with you guys. I made last week, but it's a little bit more involved because of one part of it. It takes a little bit more with the coloring. So I'll share that with you guys as well. And I'm going to just stop here because I think this looks good. So I'm not going to do any more. But I thought, what could I do? And then I was like, oh, that masking card was really cool. That'd be really pretty. And we do have a couple cool masks. I'm really hoping we come out with some more masks. That would be super cool. So now all you have to do is you take these and just rinse them under cold water. The ink will run clear. They won't necessarily ever look white again, but they will not transfer the ink once they're clean and dried and everything. So let's pull this off. So I thought this would be a good idea. And again, I'm going to just use these again. So I usually just stick them to my lamp base because until they actually like really run out of sticky, they're still fine to use. All right, we'll see what this one looks like. Oh, that's super cool. So same thing again. I do have to wash this off, but let me just wipe off this little bit of excess here. Let's get this. Here's my other piece of tape. So those are really cool. They turned out super fun. I mean, easy. Simple stamping. Inks and either sponges or dauber. So kind of depends if you like one more than the other. It seems as you are easier to keep a straight line using the daubers, so if you want to keep your colors separated, but if you want to be able to blend them a little bit more using the sponges because they're still wet, so we kind of got Pool Party, and then the yellow and the bluish kind of made a green here, and then we also have an orange, which kind of looks a little like Calypso Coral from the Daffodil Delight and the Melon Mambo mixing together. So really, they turned out super cool. I know everybody loves rainbow stuff. Rainbows are so cool, so beautiful. So again, we use Pool Party, Daffodil Delight, and Melon Mambo to create that combo. So let me put these away. And then later on today, I'll make sure I put all the links of everything I used on the blog post and the colors and all that kind of stuff. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to put these onto black because it's going to really make them stand out. So just have to grab some basic black cardstock. And let's see, I'm pretty sure these are trimmed to what I wanted them. because you could even trim them down if you wanted to put them maybe onto like another layer, which would be cool. You could put them on a piece of champagne foil. You could put them on a piece of glimmer paper in the background. Either thing would be cool. So I have a whole sheet of cardstock here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score it and then cut it. That way I'll have 2 pieces already. So I'm going to go ahead and make the score mark at 4 1/4. And then I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2. And then I have 2 bases that are scored and ready to go. And so just in case you haven't seen this before, I'm going to just show you one other thing. The other thing you can do with those masks, we have embossing paste. So there is, I believe this is white embossing paste. And then there also, I don't know if the silver is still available or not, but there's also a, this isn't it, there is a shimmer. Yeah, a shimmery white embossing paste. So you can use, excuse me, you can use these for the masks as well. So this is just, oh my goodness, I didn't even open this one yet. So anyway, this is, there it is. This has a lot of glitter to it, if you can see there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does have glitter to it. Okay. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a drink. By the way, I did go to the doctor. I don't have bronchitis or an ear infection or sinusitis or anything really, but they were kind enough to give me some steroids for my lungs since I do have asthma, and they gave me an antibiotic just in case. So, and then come to find out later that day is when the Rainbow Stamper found out he had the flu. But I don't have the flu, so who knows? I don't know. There we go. So there's one. I just adhered these with some snail. But I will say I'm doing much better since I have the steroids, so that's definitely helpful. Being able to breathe is, until you can't do it, is something you really take for granted, which sounds ridiculous, but it is true. All right, so here we have our 2 bases. And then I came up with 2 ways you could do this. You could do one of 2 things. If you want, you could go ahead and do your layering circles, because this 2 1/2 inch circle punch is retired. Woo, that was a scary shot at me in the morning. So this is retired. So if you don't happen to have the 2 1/2 inch circle punch, you could get out your layering circles. But we do still have 2 1/4 and 2 inches. So either of those will do. Pardon me. So what I wanted to do was I was going to stamp 2 things and then punch out 2 layers and then put them together. I think I'm going to use some foil. No, I'm going to use some of the Dazzling Diamonds. So I'm going to punch out 2 1/4 Dazzling Diamonds. Here's one. Oopsie. There's 2. And then we're going to find some sort of sentiment that we can get onto this 2 inch. I think it goes nicely with that rainbow. And I know Jamie's watching. Gwen would love this. If she would get herself on Facebook, she could see it. We have birthdays. Strong and Beautiful. This is a great one as well. And I like this one. So Glad We're Friends. I'm going to do that one. So Glad We're Friends. Could use, if you could fit one of these on there, Thinking of You. Not sure if that will fit on the 2 inch. No. Thinking of You. Greatly appreciate everything, all you do. Great ones as well. And so I'm going to use So Glad We're Friends. And then I'm going to use, if I can fit this in, I'm going to use Treat Yourself. I think that's really cute as well. Okay. And I'm going to put these on Melon Mambo. I should say, because I think it'll be nice. So I'll move these over. See if I can get this in here. Hopefully it'll fit. We will see. So I have So Glad We're Friends. Perfect. Just going to clean this off real quick. And then I think for the other one, I'm going to do it in Pool Party, because I love Pool Party too. I think I've used this one before. Treat Yourself. We're going to do that one too. Both of these are in, you could even add Coastal Cabana if you wanted to. Both of these are in photopolymer, so they're really good to see when you have them inked well. Perfect. Just wipe this off real quick. Sometimes I forget to clean my stamps, which, as we said before, does help to make them locatable if you can't find them. So that's a good thing. Okay, so let's see. So Glad We're Friends. Ooh, this is a close one, but it worked out just nicely. So make sure it's kind of straight. So that's why I usually punch them from underneath, so I can make sure they're where I want them to be. And then Treat Yourself. We could even make this one smaller if we needed to, but just like that. And while I'm at it, just because that looks a little lonely, I'm going to add a couple of little doodads in Melon Mambo. Let's see. You have these little teeny flowers or these little dots. So I'm going to do one of those. Or maybe both. Let me set this here. It's not loud enough, but I wish you guys could hear right now. He's in his room singing to himself. Oh my gosh, that is like one of the nicest sounds, I swear. I will so miss when he stops singing to himself. I don't know if he's doing a rhyme or whatever it is he's doing, but it is so adorable. And I'm going to add, just to make it so it's like mirror images, I'm going to do Pool Party, and I'm just going to add these little cute little dudes to this. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm just going to add these with some dimensionals. So I'm going to put 3 on the back. Breathing is overrated. Oh, I love you, Donna. It's overrated, so you can't do it, right? Come on. Okay, so here's one. Just gonna layer this on top. You could also take, if you wanted to, you could take your yellow and just go around it with your marker. It's another cool idea if you want to bring that color in. Thank you guys for sharing. I really appreciate that. Oh, I'm sorry, I was off screen. So what I did was, sorry about that, I was not paying attention whatsoever. So I stamped the sentiment on this in Melon Mambo. And then I added these little, I think there's these flowers are supposed to go with this stem. What I did was I stamped these flowers on with Pool Party. So I stamped once, twice, and then 3 times. So I just stamped without re-inking. And then I did, oh no, I did the same. Something tells me these glue dots aren't going to want to stick to this glimmer paper. Am I right? And then I did the opposite for this one. So I stamped Treat Yourself and Pool Party. And then I stamped these little 3 dots here. So the 3 dots I stamped in Melon Mambo. So 1, 2, 3 without re-inking. And I think I may be right that, yep, these don't want to stick. So I will tell you, so just so you know, not just you, sometimes you do have a little bit of trouble with sticking things to glimmer paper. So I typically will add some of the Tombow multi-purpose glue. This stuff makes anything stick to anything. So I will put this back on here. You do have to just hold it for a second just to make sure it gets where you want it to. And then just press that down. And then same for this one. And you will notice that too. I know I cannot get glue. So like Fast Fuse or Snail, I cannot get them to stick to the back of this paper because it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. So typically when I glue anything on from the back of Glimmer paper, I always use this glue as well. So I'm going to do that on the other side. So I'm going to just flip this over. And this will just take a second to dry. And you can, excuse me, position this anywhere you want. Kind of put it in the center. I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to put a block on it just to hold it where I want it. Same thing for this one. And there you go. So, that is all I have for you guys today. I will put all the instructions and everything on later. And I'm going to call, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for watching.